Hey guys, Boss here. I know it's Friday and it's really late, but I wanted to come on here and do a video about my thoughts about what I see from Raw because I did watch this past Monday's Raw. So here's my thoughts. Basically, I really like what is being presented as far as entertainment value. I mean, they keep using the app. The only thing about the app and the polls and all that stuff is they're pushing it at nauseum. And if people aren't gonna get it by now, then they're not gonna get it. Um, it drives me nuts how they show the footage that they show on the app about the stuff during the break on the little phone in the corner because it's like taunting you, and some people can't get the app. I can, I have it, but I know there's some people that don't have smartphones that can't get the app, and it really annoys them. My fellow tag talker co-host, Nutty Rock Chick, is among them, so I know firsthand. I will say that I really liked how they set up the lead into Money in the Bank with the matches. You know, Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus, and they alluded back to the WrestleMania match where Sheamus defeated Daniel Bryan in 18 seconds for the title, and yada yada yada. And then it was a really good, really solid match. And I thought it was a match that should be rekindled on a pay-per-view. Maybe when Sheamus is a heel, and if Daniel Bryan ever gets his hands on the title again, they could do it again. Then you had other things, like how Dolph Ziggler came out in Alberto Del Rio's match and said that because he had taken out Ricardo and he felt really bad about it, that he would do Alberto's announcement for him, and how they incorporated that in the match, and how Alberto couldn't stop wrestling because he was still facing Sin Cara, and they made it where Sin Cara could have beat him a few times. And I thought that that was really good, a really smart way to do it. But the biggest thing of the night was, of course, Vicky Guerrero's performance review. And she came out in the very first segment, very first thing, and she climbed a ladder and talked about it being the ladder to success and all the stuff and how she climbed it, and the thing that was most upsetting to me was that she mentioned a ton of great superstars that had climbed the ladder to success, but she didn't mention her husband, which I was a bit shocked by. And I hope you were all kind of shocked by it too. I was like, what about Eddie? You didn't mention Eddie. And, and that kind of bothered me. And then we get to the actual performance review segment, and it's Vince Stephanie and Triple H. And Stephanie starts it and says how, Vicky does have good points to her, but she also hired back Brock Lesnar, who destroyed both her father and her husband. And was that really good for business? And Vicky said, yeah, I learned from your father that that was good for business. And then Vince stepped in and said he thought she was highly qualified and deserved to be the permanent general manager. And then Triple H stepped in with his usual truth and also a bit of sarcasm thrown in, saying, yeah, she does have one good thing going for her. She has the most annoying voice in broadcast. And you threw in a couple other one-liners and little drops and shivs to Vicky's stomach, so to speak. And the funniest part about that was you could see Steph trying not to laugh. And then, Triple H said, I don't know why we're doing this. You're going to do what you're going to do anyway, talking to Vince. And then Triple H said, why don't we let Steph make the decision? And Vince said, my baby girl is going to make the right decision, and so on and so forth. And then Triple H said, well, I know my wife and the mother of my children is going to make the right decision, because if she doesn't, she knows she's got to go home and deal with me. And Steph said, I don't want this decision to tear my family apart, and let's let the app decide. And of course, the app was A for pass, B for fail, and Vicky failed by a wide margin, as it was. Fail was 75% and pass was 25%. So Steph said, in the words of my father, while looking at him and kind of having a gleam in her eye, she said, Vicky, you're fired. Vicky collapsed. They left the ring, meaning Triple H and Steph. Vicky was screaming about how could you do this to me after all the time and everything that I've given you? And Vince said, well, we need a new general manager, and all you fans have failed. Every single one of you have failed. So in response, he gave us Brad Maddox as the new GM of Raw. So we'll see where this goes. I mean, that was one of the bigger things of the night, along with setting up the matches for the pay-per-view, which either myself and Nutty Ratchet will be doing together in tandem, probably the day after the pay-per-view. And another thing I want to mention is I really, really like what I'm seeing out of the development with Curtis Axel. I think having Paul Heyman with him is a stroke of genius. I think you're seeing a quick but solid development of Curtis Axel, and I think and I hope it keeps going. Now, the Wyatt family also debuted on Monday, and let's just say that it's, in my opinion, it's just bizarre and weird. And if these guys are supposed to be the guys to go up against the Shield, I don't think it's going to work. So that's my thoughts on that. I'll elaborate on that at some later date. And Nutty Rock Chick and I will be back with another video for you guys soon. Probably on a DVD like the WWE's Greatest Rivalry. Because I watched it. I saw how they rated the top 25 rivalries. I have my thoughts on it. I'm sure Nutty Rock Chick will. So we'll be back with that video for you hopefully this weekend. This has been one half of Tag Talkers, the boss, and we will see you all later.